Card review. Card review. Card review. Hey there, dear Spellweaver community, and welcome back to another card review video. Yeah, as you all know, the Ancient season finally dropped in Spellweaver 2 days ago, to be precise. I think it was in the night from the 13th to the 14th of May. And with it, of course, there were the first 6 new cards from the new Ancient Rising season. And I think Jodo did a stream on Twitch where he shared his thoughts about the cards, and then the Fuzz made a video on YouTube. Pretty sure the Verk also made a video on YouTube. And now the noob himself, of course, he also has to share his thoughts about the new cards. Why would you watch pros or people who actually know something about Spellweaver? Why would you watch their videos when you can also see a noob's insight from the new cards? Actually, I already did this today. It was like a video that was like half an hour ago, or half an hour long, but the fucking recording program that I use fucked it up, so I have to do it again, and I just hope that everything goes fine. It probably won't, but we're gonna see. So, Ancient Rising season, we have it right here. If you go, let me check it real quick, to the marketplace, you see, of course, the good old 2 good box, 2 evil box thing, and then, of course, the good Ancients Rising season. If you wish, you can... Okay, I can't unclick it anymore because I already purchased it in the video that is sadly gone, but you can buy all the cards for either 300,000 gold, which I definitely did, and now I'm down to 300,000, so I'm ready for the June drop. But you can also buy it for in-game crystals that you either buy with real-life money or, of course, when you participate in some crystal fiestas, that also works. And you can purchase foil cards for 1,500,000. I think you get all foil cards. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure. And I'm not too sure, but I think that's what it is, because it's a lot. But I think you get all the cards foiled, so maybe you want to do that. List of cards is, however, the thing that is definitely interesting, and we see the foil cards. That's pretty dope. So overall, there are 7 new cards, 6 to be precise, and then 1 new hero. Every one of us basically thought that it's gonna be Armin because of the article on the Spellweaver homepage. Also, they made like a little rundown who Armin is and stuff. So everyone was like, okay, it's probably a new hero. It's probably gonna be Armin. It's probably gonna be Corruption. No, that couldn't have been farther from the truth. It's a complete new hero, and he's called Ytix, Realm Guardian, or Comsiant, as the Fuzz called him, because he doesn't know how to pronounce his hero name, but I'm pretty sure you pronounce it Ytix. The little brother from Why Not, by the way. And this guy is pretty special because he is a colorless hero. And that becomes obvious when you see the hero power, because he doesn't have any hero power. He has 2 passive effects, basically. Draw an additional card for your starting hand, and whenever you play a non-ancient spell, lose 1 life. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean, by the way, ancient spells is not like stuff like Ancient Wisdom or anything like that. Ancient spells are basically cards that come with the Ancient Rising expansion. As you probably know, I'm gonna show that real quick. We are currently, or 2 days ago, basically, we were still running in the Valiant Dawn season. And let me just get a random card from this one right here. Wait, I don't have to go into this. You see like this little sun-moon hybrid thing. That tells us that this card is from the Valiant Dawn season. Same, by the way, with this one, or let me go with this one. Of course, it depends the rarity, but that's not the point. Like the half sun, half moon thing shows us that this card is from Valiant Dawn. The new season, they have like a new little symbol that you just saw, and this one right here. This one shows us that this card is from the Ancients Rising season, or yeah, from the Ancients basically. And also, by the way, with this card, for instance, you can see this right here, the symbol. So that shows us that's from the Ancient Rising expansion. So if you play a spell that is not from the Ancient Rising thing, which means Fireball, Fire Blast, Flash Freeze, basically all the spells that you know and love. If we play those when we have this hero activated, or when we play with this hero, we lose 1 life. However, he starts with 25 HP, which means 5 HP more than any other hero out there. So I think it's a pretty good price to pay. So, is this hero useful or not? We can quickly look that up. If you remember, by the way, when Amalric dropped with the Holy Child campaign, he was a little bit OP because he did what he did now, which means you put you protect 2 creatures that don't die, but I think they also got +1/+1. Not too sure on that though, but I think that's what it was. And the whole ladder, from place 1 to 10, there was only Amalric. This is the only thing that you saw. And that's why I refused, by the way, to play ranked at that time. Because whenever something new drops, one card, one hero, whatever the case may be, heroes are more likely, of course, they might be OP. So I'm not going to play in that time frame. And if we look at the leaderboards right now, you see something right here? Place 1 to 10, we see a little White-Tix Fiesta right here. So some people probably already figured out some decks that are pretty nasty with this fella. And yeah, if we check out right here from rank 11 to 20, it's a little bit dimmed down, but we see something else rising right here. Do we also see this right here? No. But we see it right here. We see Alexa Angelic Messenger. The only hero that is bound to one specific deck, and that is Angels. Why do people all of a sudden start playing Angels? We get to that later. But as you can see, there are a bunch of White-Tixes, I think that's the plural, I'm not too sure, in the ladder already. So apparently there are some decks out there that are pretty obnoxious with this guy. Maybe. So let's check this out. Where would you play this guy? Obviously, he is not that good at the moment, simply because there are none. There are only, let's see, with this update, there are one. Oh wait, that's not even a spell. Yeah, there's only one spell coming out with this, which is Superiority, where we get to later. So he is gonna be better, of course, when there are more ancient spells out there. But given the fact, I think, yeah, it only counts for spells, so it doesn't count for artifacts. So artifacts you could probably play with this guy. You start with one more card. So where would you really play this guy? He has 25 lives, so you know you could play him with Rage Rush. Swap out Zash for him. I mean, Zash is pretty good with the hero ability to just block an enemy creature, because sometimes that's definitely what you need to just secure the win. But if you start with one more additional card in your hand, if you just think about it, that would be pretty nice for Rage Rush. Because that's, you know, one more card is always a good thing. And he has 25 HP since you go face all the time, and you always have more board presence, or you should, with Rage Rush. That's what you aim for. It's not a big deal to pay like 1 HP. To lose 1 life, to like get a fireball to the face, remove an enemy creature with a fireball or with a fire blast or anything like that. So that's one thing. And the second thing, since he doesn't have a hero ability, technically you could go for 3 skill shrines with this guy. So if you, let's say you play Nature, no wait, you play Rage Dominion, you could go for Altar of Dragons, you could go for the Fire Emblem thing, and you could go for Cathedral of the Night. So basically 3 skill shrines. I don't necessarily know if that's really what you need, because, I mean, maybe there's a deck type that we don't know about yet, because no one has tried it yet, that flourishes with like 3 skill shrines. But I can't think of anything, actually. Because it's also really mana efficient, obviously, if you want to use 3 skill shrines in 1 turn or 2 turns. So not too sure about that, but he's pretty flexible in that sense, definitely. And he's colorless, so, you know, you can play this with Order, you can play him with Corruption, Rage, Dominion, you name it. He's open for everything. And by the way, I gotta say, I really love the artwork, by the way. It looks pretty well. It's pretty well done. Really like that one. So that is the new hero, White-Tix Realm Guardian. Now we get into the cards, and we have some new triggers, by the way. You know, with the last one, when Steelnor Innkeeper came in, we had the Stupefy thing, which is still pretty nice. I would still love to see more cards with a Stupefy thing, by the way. But Here we have the first new creature, Swarming Spider, and they leaked this, I think, on Facebook or Twitter, one of the two. And the one thing that we see right here is primary. What does primary mean? We see it right here. You can have any number of copies of a primary card in your deck. And that is why, if you see the list of cards, you purchase all the cards with this one. 60. Usually, as you can see also right here with the rest of the cards, if you swap out Protoprism, you can only have 4 copies of one card in your deck, which means like 4 Fireballs, 4 Fire Blasts, 4 any kind of creature you can only have 4. Any kind of artifact you can only have 4. Any kind of spell you can only have 4. But if the creature is primary, you can basically make a deck that consists 60 cards with just this one particular card. And which means, by the way, that Swarming Spiders is definitely going to be pretty disgusting and pretty annoying to play against, because you can put any amount of spiders in your deck, which is nasty and kind of interesting, though, I gotta say. Of course, by the way, shrines are also the... You can also have more than 4 shrines. But, you know, that goes without saying, of course, we know that. And then we have a new tag also, next to primary, we have Play Boost. Now, Play Boost, we see right here, allows you to get 1 or more extra effects when you play the card. Play Boosts do not apply if a card enters the field by any other means. This is basically damage control by the developers. I remember after I made my video, I watched the Fuzz's video, and he explained that, you know... The thing is, Bezarok is the best example, I think. The Fuzz also mentioned this. He has 4 aspects, 5 mana, which is a lot. You need to ramp a lot until you can actually play Bezarok, and which makes sense, because Bezarok is fucking... is terrible to play against. But you can just go 2 aspects and 3 mana, and you can just reanimate him, and then... You have a pretty big creature on the board for, like, yeah, 2 aspects, 3 mana, and not for 4 aspects, 5 mana, which you otherwise would if you hard cast it. Swarming Spiders, however, if you reanimate them, they are on the board, they are primary, so you can still have 60 in your deck, that's no problem, but you don't get the Play Boost thing. You only get the Play Boost when you have them in your hand and hard cast them from your hand, which is interesting, and... which definitely makes sense if you look at the Play Boost things that these guys have. The first thing is Play Boost, deadly if you pay 2 life, which reminds me of the Abhorrent Ghoul. When he enters the field, he either is a 3/3 when you pay 3 HP, or was it 2? No, I think it's 3 HP. Or he gets a weakness emblem and you don't pay the HP threshold. So you can make this one a 2/2, 2-speed deadly if you pay 2 life, which definitely makes sense. The next Play Boost that this thing has is Summon a Swarming Spider if you pay 2 mana. So, okay, another Swarming Spider on the field. Sounds pretty good. And another Play Boost is gains a Might Emblem for each other spider you control if you pay 3 mana. The cool thing about this, by the way, also that I want to mention, is that the artwork changes for the Swarming Spider for the specific effects. If you make the Swarming Spider deadly, it gets like a green tint or a green glow. Haven't seen it yet in game, of course. It gets like a green glow that looks pretty sweet, apparently. And if a Swarming Spider has, I think, 5 Might Emblems, then the artwork also changes. Basically, like with Carr when he transforms, or with the Doggo. Silverfang, he also changes when you have like when you have the amount of aspects and stuff. But this one so far, by the way, maybe you have noticed it. Spellweaver DB, which is run by the guys from the Shrining, where you can basically get real interesting decks or deck lists is what they mainly post. They haven't they only posted like 2 decks so far, and that makes sense because the meta is gonna shift dramatically, and the people, like the cards just came out 1 day ago or 2 days ago at this point, and people still try to find like ways to build decks that implement the new cards, and of course they also have to find their places. And what I've seen so far, by the way, is 1 deck, Valor Spiders, which sounds disgusting. And the other one was like a chicken deck with spiders as well. which sounds pretty interesting. So Spider's definitely something that people are holding dear to their hearts so far, I guess. And it definitely makes sense, because this card is definitely interesting. Maybe also, you know, it's pretty mana efficient also to... By the way, I think if you... The thing is, okay, you hardcast this. Oh yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it makes sense. So you can't go like for an entire barrage basically, because you still need to have to lock up the draw. You still need to hardcast them. I was about to say, if you summon a Storming Spider with this, does the play boost from the one that you summon, does it also apply? But of course it doesn't, because you summon it, you don't hardcast it from your hand. So that only triggers one time the play boost. So okay, yeah. And yeah, 5 Might Emblem, like it. 5 Might Emblems on one Spider is gonna be pretty nasty. That's basically an Undead Hydra with Deadly as well. Sick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing is gonna see play, and maybe we even see a comeback from Basic Despina. Because, you know, no one really plays her, but she has that sweet ability where you can have, like, +5 mana crystals in your next turn. So, and, you know, this thing is pretty mana costly, so maybe we're gonna see a comeback, you never know. And by the way, don't forget, basically there are 3 different artworks for this, including this one, so definitely awesome job, Alexander Nanichkov, with the artwork. Superior, it's awesome, I love it. Next one, another primary card apparently, because you get 60 copies of it, is Proto Prism, which is a wisdom card. By the way, every aspect got a card. We have, like, of course, the colorless hero, we have corruption, and now we have the wisdom card for this one. And of course, it's also an ancient spell, as we can, or an ancient artifact, as we can see right here. 2 aspects, 1 mana, primary. Yeah, you can have 60 copies of this. Sacrifice Protoprism. The next creature you play this turn costs 1 mana less. When you play that creature, draw a card. The question right here is, why does Wisdom need more card draw at this point? Because, like, Wisdom is known to have card draw up the ass. You know, Ancient Wisdom, of course, being the #1 priority right here. But basically everything that they have, of course, also the Word of Knowledge and stuff. You have so much card draw also with Power Discharge and whatnot. Almost everything gives you a card draw, so I don't know why Wisdom necessarily needs more card draw at this point. But other than that, it's basically like a really light version of Niiva. Because, you know, it costs the creature that you play costs 1 mana less, and you get a card draw. So, and well, I don't really know why it's primary. I mean, you mill out really fast if you play a good amount of Proto Prisms. But of course, that thing can definitely save you some. Wait, let me. Okay. I was about to say the next creature you play, because I was afraid for a second there that we might get some shitty ass silencer moments. But of course, that's not gonna be the case. But I can see this. Oh no, you can't also go with New Horizons with this. I was about to say. Yeah, it's just for creatures. So I think Wisdom Rage is definitely gonna put this in, because, you know, #1, it's more card draw, and yeah, like your Battle Scarred Elder and stuff. They are 1 mana less, and yeah, card draw, as I said. So yeah, good on that, definitely. Next card that we have is the Boar Rider, which is a Rage card, which is a Goblin Warrior, which is a 4/3. Yeah, 4/3, 1 aspect, 3 mana, which is pretty insane, by the way, when you think about it. Because those stats for 1 aspect, 3 mana is pretty intense, and pretty scary when you think about Rage Rush, because this thing is also a goblin. But right here we have the deal. When Boar Rider enters the field, put a target emblem on an enemy creature, which is nice, because I actually made like a deck that revolves around target emblems, and you of course need Rage for that, and Nature has a bunch of target cards as well. So maybe with this one, I really like that they go for like these niche things that haven't seen much play, because they are just not you're not really able to play like target specific decks. That revolve around the target mechanic. But with this card, I'm pretty confident. Probably gonna make like a tryout video for my target deck that I made. But yeah, put a target emblem on an enemy creature, and when Oh yeah, you can also go. Yeah, it's one aspect, so it's a 1-drop. So you can also rune of blades, yeah, that too. But you can also use rune of fire with them. So that's 2 target emblems, I think. Pretty nice. Ball Rider can't attack creatures without an emblem on them. So that is the little drawback, that he can't attack anyone else besides the ones that that have a target emblem on them. But besides that, I can still see like Rage Rush actually run this, because it's only 1 aspect, it's only 3 mana. It's a really good yeah, it has really good survivability because it doesn't die to like Fire Blast or a simple Fireball. So it's really resistant in that sense. Like 4 HP, that's gonna be a problem for the enemy to deal with. And still, if like if no one on the enemy side, no creature has a target emblem, you can still go face. And you know, 3 damage is pretty intense. So the enemy has to block this sooner or later. And yeah, I can see this being played in Rage Rush, definitely, because mostly, of course, you want to go face anyway. So I don't think the Ball Rider really cares if he can't attack enemy creatures or deal with anything, because remember, you also have your spells, so to deal with the enemy creatures, and he can just go for swing in for 3 damage, which is basically a fireball with a pretty intense body with 4 HP. So yeah, pretty cool card. Definitely a good card for Rage. My god, editing this is gonna be a bitch, that is for sure. Next card on our list is an Angel card, and that is the reason why we have seen Advanced Alexa, by the way, in the ladder. It's Angelic Emanation. Thank you very much for that. And it is the first card... Yeah, I think that's the first card that goes across the borders. You know, for now, because for now, if there was like a mixed creature, like Jackery Riot Instigator was Dominion Rage, Azaris is Corruption Rage, everyone was like either Forces of Evil or either Forces of Good, and now we have like a little mishmash. We have Order Corruption, which is pretty interesting. Flying Lifebound, 2/2, 2 speed, basically a shitty version of the Angelic Temple, but a Flying Lifebound nonetheless. Basically a slightly better version of a Sunblessed Priest, because it's flying. And it has 2 play boosts. Summon an Enchained Soul if you pay 1 mana, and Shield Emblem if you pay 1 mana. I actually like this, because Shield Emblems is something that you don't really have that much. You have, of course, the Force Mage Protector, you have the Temple Guard that instead of Might Emblems he gains shields, and I think Solemn Prayer, and some War Priests, I think, that no one plays. They also give, like, shields, but there are not many creatures that actually give out shields, or shield emblems, which I really like. But there is one big problem. Play boost. Play boost only counts if you play the card, if you hardcast the card. And as we all know, let's just assume you play Angels, of course, you know? And as we all know, where's my Angels list, by the way? I think I played this recently for some odd reason. I don't know what's wrong with me. Here we have it. Of course, what you want to do, or what you have in Angels, is the Triangelica. If you control 3 or more Angels, win the game. This is basically your whole thing. And that's why, by the way, why I love the shield thing. But I'm gonna get to that later a little bit. But the thing is, we have the hero ability from Advanced Alexa right here, which is Angelic Call. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may put an Angel card from among them onto the field, put the rest shuffled on the bottom of the deck. Which means, if you Angelic Call... wait, where's the card? If you Angelic Call this particular Angel right here, the Angelic Emanation, you don't get the play boosts because you didn't hardcast it. So, in that sense, it's not as good. But what is good about this is if you hardcast it and you have the 1 or 2 mana to spare, you not only do you have an Enchained Soul with a body, you can put also, the one thing that you can do is put a shield emblem on that Enchained Soul, so it can actually block 2 creatures, because 3 speed pretty much blocks everything in the game anyways. But also, the problem is, when you go for the Triangelica win, where you have 3 or more Angels, it's always a problem if you have if the enemy removes one of your creatures, obviously, or one of your Angels in that sense. Which means, of course, if like the the Angelic Temple. If that gets removed, like with artifact removal, with Dragonfire from Rage, or with a simple Fireball, you can prevent this by just putting a weakness emblem, of course, by just putting a shield with Angelic Emanation on it. Or maybe there's like one creature that goes face that would hit you really hard, you know, like if you play against Rage Rush again. And you have to block this because otherwise you would lose, but then you lose also one of your angels. Just put a shield emblem on them, and that might just make the little that might give you one more turn to actually get that win with Triangelica. So the thing basically for angels at least is if you hardcast it, awesome. Especially if you have other angels out there already. Like just put a shield emblem on Entriel, and she's basically good to go. Because of course the enemy is hellbound on getting that life bound out of the board of your side. So definitely a cool card for angels. Not if you angelic call it, obviously. I can also see like corruption decks maybe play this, because you know a 2/2 2-speed life bound. I mean, why not? That also can give you like an Enchained Soul, gives you shield emblems. Sure, you can splash that in easily. Next card that we have is Elvish Champion, a nature card. 2 aspects, 2 mana, 3/2, 2 speed, and 2 play boost things. The first play boost is Swift if you control 3 or more other creatures. So basically what they try to tell you is that this is for rush decks. And the next play boost is Might Emblem if the enemy hero controls 3 or more creatures. So also, this tells you this card is also against, or good to play against aggro. So the thing is, we have 3 major aggro decks out there in the meta currently. Rage Rush, which is the best one, I think. We have Zombies, and we have Soldiers. All 3 of them thrive on board presence, because Zombies just summon a bunch of zombies with Tombs of the Damned. Soldiers with the Horseback Rider and with the Cavalry Field Captain, with Militias, obviously, they just control the board that way. And Rage Rush, just goblins, basically. Goblins, Flame Serpents, going face, Fireballs, removal, they have it all. Elves are also a thing. There are also some people who actually somehow won some matches in Masters with it, which I still don't understand how they actually made it with Elves. But Elves is always, like, for me at least, it's, if I play this, the chances of me winning are 10%. The chances of me losing are 90%. I just hate Elves. Elves, in terms of Rage decks or Rush decks, Elves are definitely the worst, in my opinion. They have only one thing that the other 3 aspects don't have, and that is speed. They have the speed advantage, but they just don't have any HP, so they get removed by any removal that any of the other 3 have. And the removal that nature has doesn't cut it. Like, Tornado Outbreak doesn't beat a Fireball, and Landslide definitely doesn't beat like Fire Blast or Dragonfire even. But this one definitely can make Elves actually viable. So I might actually make an Elf deck that runs this, because it works pretty well. Because it works awesome if you are behind, because if the enemy has a board presence already, you just play this thing. It's swift right away, so you don't even have to have to run basic Naiva with this, because it's swift anyways then. And it's also a Might Emblem, which means it's a 4/3. And a 4/3, even a 3/2, blocks basically every goblin that the enemy has. You know, they only make 2 damage, so you can block you can block and kill 1 enemy goblin as well. Just thinking about Rage Rush right here. And it also deals with zombies, because zombies have 2 HP and they are slow in general. So it survives and it kills off a zombie. This card is overall pretty good. And definitely, if you have like an elf deck, you're gonna have to run this, because this card is just really good. Even if it doesn't get the Might Emblem or doesn't get the Swift, it's still a 3/2, which is a good body, definitely. I don't know, if you would make it fly, would it be OP? Would be pretty hard to deal with. The last one is a spell, and that is the card for Dominion, and that is the one that I was most curious about, because, you know, Dominion has vampires, and you know me, I like me some vampires, so let's see if we can run vampires with this, right? Let's see if we can. So it's Superiority. is what this card is called. It's a blessing, at least for the one who plays it, obviously. At the start of your turn, draw a card and gain 2 life if you are the hero with the most cards in hand. Then repeat the same if you are the hero with the most creatures. Then repeat the same if you are the hero with the most life. Then destroy superiority. Ties do not count. AKA, plumbers don't wear ties. So, overall, this card gives you 1 card draw all the time. And the maximum that you can get out of it is 6 life. Number 1, if you are the hero with the most cards in hand. Let's go in general. So if you play Wisdom Dominion, this one could definitely give you like 2 HP because you have the card draw when you run Wisdom, because every card redraws itself, and you also have Ancient Wisdom, and you have Protoprism now as well, which also gives you a card draw. And this also gives you a card draw as well, so let's not forget that. So that then repeat the same if you are the hero with the most creatures. Okay, there could be a little bit of a problem right there. And repeat the same if you are the hero with the most life. Well, if you get 1 trigger or 2 triggers before, then that could definitely be a thing. But I don't know, why would you... The only time you can really gain something out of it is when you are ahead, and I don't see why you would play Superiority then. Because this one is 2 mana, 2 aspects, which is not too costly to be precise. But... Yeah, the only time you would actually play this is when you are ahead. But when you are ahead, there are way better cards that you can actually play. Like, late game, you wouldn't play this. You wouldn't play this over, like, a Power Surge. Because Power Surge gives you 1 more mana, and it gives you a card draw. Whereas this one might only give you a... also gives you a card draw. But it would only gain you, like, 2... It doesn't even drain the enemy. If it would drain the enemy from his life, then that would make it, then it would be pretty cool. But then it also would probably be like corruption, because draining is more like a corruption thing due to Sexibus and stuff like that, and consume spirit. But since this only gives you like 2 life for things when you are ahead, I don't think it really makes sense. Also, if you play, let's see this from a vampire's perspective, right? So if you are the hero with the most cards in hand, that is not a thing, because I always run out of cards when I play vampires. Maybe I'm just terrible, but the cards that you play are really, yeah, they are more on the costly side, I would say. And it takes a little bit of time, so mid and late game, you definitely have the upper hand with vampires usually. But the thing is, you probably don't really have board control with creatures most of the time. And that and then the most cards. So those two, they are... You probably don't have that with vampires. And then repeat the same if you are the hero with the most life. That could be a thing. Because, you know, you have your Soul Ravens that give you life. You have Vampirism on the board, which also gives you life. But then again, when you have the life already, then you don't... Then you are already ahead, basically. Then you have already established board presence. And then the game is basically over. And then there is no need actually to play superiority. Like, you rather play like another Lord Karthus, summon another Soul Raven. Or just any other creature that does something. Because, yeah, this one is just card draw, and that's not enough, I would say. So, overall, I think that's pretty underwhelming. I'm not sure if that actually would make sense in a deck. Of course, it could maybe save you when you go for the 40 life threshold, but again, if you're at, let's say, 38 HP, and you play like, I don't know, 1 turn heal, and you somehow splash the minion in there, somehow, that could be a thing, but... because you would get 2 life for being the hero with the most life at that point, but yeah, then you basically already won the game. So... And ties do not count, so let's not forget that as well. So I don't know. That card seems to be pretty underwhelming, and requires you to have something that you not really have when you run at least Mono Dominion, I would say. Maybe like it would make more sense if this would be like a Wisdom card or something. But it would have been a little bit of a different thing if it would actually drain the enemy. Basically like that one totem from the corruption side, where it drains like the HP and gives it to you. That would be pretty nice, but of course it doesn't do that, so Also, it's a blessing, by the way. Blessing a spell. It's kind of weird. But of course, you can play this, by the way, without paying like 1 HP for white ticks. So that's the first ancient spell that we have right here. Kind of underwhelming though, but maybe I just don't see something here. But yeah, that was basically it. So I would say the hero. If we have more cards, if we have more ancient spells, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how he is being played. People already figured out 2 decks at least. If you go to spellweaverdb.com, by the way, there are 2 decks already with white ticks. 1 chicken deck and 1 swarming spiders deck. Swarming spider definitely, I think, the big winner of this one, because this card is awesome, and I love like how versatile it is basically with the play boost that you have. And also the play boost thing is really nice. You know, the fact that you have to hard cast it is pretty nice. And if you just reanimate the swarming spider, for instance, you don't get the play boost abilities, which definitely doesn't make it OP, because otherwise it would definitely be probably a little bit broken. Protoprism, basically card draw. It gives Wisdom Rage more of an edge, again, for the next turn that they have, because the Battle-Scarred Elder, or maybe even the Elder Red Dragon, costs 1 less mana, so 1 more turn, or 1 earlier turn for them to drop. Boar Rider, definitely, I love this one. Awesome in target mechanic decks, and in, can also see this in Rage Rush, definitely, because 4 HP for a Goblin, for these stats, or for 1 aspect and 3 mana is pretty nice. But I think at the most, you would probably see like 1 Boar Rider in a Rage Rush deck, because there are other possibilities to play. Or other creatures to play. But, you know, for Rage Rush, you always want to go face, and this guy, I'm pretty sure, can also attack the hero, even if you can't put like target emblems on a hero, because that would be pretty stupid. But for that, it definitely does the job, and it's hard to get rid of it with 4 HP. Angelic Emanation, definitely gonna be a thing for angels, obviously. And probably also for some corruption decks as well, because Flying Lifebone is always nice, summoning an Enchained Soul is always nice, and getting a shield emblem is also always good, because that's something that that corruption definitely lacks, because they don't have any way to get shield emblems. That was also only a thing for Order and for Wisdom so far, and now corruption is also up there, which is pretty nice. So I can see this in some corruption decks, definitely. Probably not in vampires, probably not in zombies, but in the control thing I could see this definitely. Yeah, that would be a thing. And also you have to hard cast it. Don't forget that. Elvish Champion definitely gives a huge boost for Nature Rush decks for elves, basically. And I'm definitely gonna make like an elf deck. Dominion Nature, I think, is the 2 colors you should go for, because Dominion also has some elves, not the best ones, because elves in general are not that good. But this one definitely gives elves something that they definitely lacked so far, which is a pretty good card, and the play boost abilities that she provides are also really nice. She doesn't need basic either, because she is swift anyways. Most of the time, at least. And this is the perfect example of a card that gives you an advantage when you are behind, and I really like that. And it also gives you an advantage if you are currently ahead. Because, you know, if you control 3 or more, she is swift, and if the enemy controls him, when you are behind, you get some Might Emblem for 3. Easy. And yeah, superiority, definitely, no, wait, I like lemons. Just the loser of this one, I think. I think that's the weakest card, but overall, let me know what you think about the first batch of cards. The next batch of cards is supposed to drop at the end of next month, but if I recall from recent memory, they said in the post before they drop the cards that they make like a that they stop the development for June. Or they take a break in June, I should say. So, I don't know if they meant this year, but we're gonna see. If they meant this year, we're not gonna get a drop in June. The next drop is gonna be in end of July. But if not, then we can expect the next 6 to 8 cards at the end of June. And it's also gonna be interesting if there are any cards that are actually considered OP. Because, you know, the pros are now like tinkering around with decks. And we're gonna see if some cards are gonna see change. I know that the Elvish Champion, by the way, was definitely changed, was buffed in the process, because before it was like 4 or more creatures for I think both effects, and now it's 3. And this card also was changed dramatically, apparently, because it was considered OP by the balance team before. But yeah, let me know in the comments, by the way, what you think about the cards. If maybe I'm a little bit too harsh on superiority. Is there something that I just don't see, or is the card really that bad? What do you think about the hero, and what is your favorite card out of the ones that we have right here? For me, it's hard to say, but considering that I'm a Rage Rush addict lately in ladder, because it works pretty well, it's probably gonna be the Boar Rider. I mean, of course, you know, it's just like with the Innkeeper, your Innkeeper and Soldiers decks, you're only gonna see like 1 or maybe at max 2 Boar Riders in a Rage Rush deck. But he does the job. He does the 3 damage to the face, which is basically a fireball with a great body, 4 HP, you know? So he definitely does it. And it just says he can attack creatures without an emblem on them, but he can definitely block creatures without an emblem, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about the hero. Let me know your thoughts about superiority and your favorite card, of course. I think the most are probably gonna say Storming Spider, and I can definitely see that, because like 60 copies of that in one deck would be pretty nasty. You couldn't play them, but it would look pretty cool. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this little card review, and yeah, I'll see you in the next Spellweaver related video. And by the way, definitely make sure to check out spellweaverdb.com. It runs by the Shrining, and they already posted 2 decks that contain white ticks and a couple of the new cards, so definitely head on over there. And I'm pretty sure I'm also going to show them in Spellweaver ranked or in a stream. Speaking of stream, I'm going to stream this week, so definitely make sure to check out or subscribe to my channel on Twitch. Link is also in the description below, obviously, and I'm going to see you there. So with that being said, I hope you liked this little card review, and I'll see you in the next Spellweaver related video.